Hello, good morning, students of class 12th economics. I'm sorry, class 11th economics. In microeconomics, you welcome to conduct our virtual class. And today's topic of discussion would be how a consumer attains equilibrium using the indifference curve approach or Hicks-Allen approach, or also we can say the ordinal utility approach. Because here, unlike the Marshallian theory of cardinal utility, we are not measuring utility and expressing them in terms of a number and unit. Like I consumed one banana and got 10 utils of utility. Here 10 is a number and util is the unit used for the measurement of utility or one satisfying power. So here we are putting different combination in order. So yesterday we discussed about budget line, and also we discussed that budget line is nothing but the price ratio between both the goods X and Y. Because any point from suppose this is a budget line, and if the consumer moves from point A to point B, that means he is willing to increase the consumption of X and willing to sacrifice the consumption of Y. So according to market rate or the prices of X and Y, what is the exchange rate between X and Y? For example, suppose X, the cost of X per unit is 2 rupees and the cost of Y per unit is 1 rupee. So in order to gain 1 unit more X, the consumer has to sacrifice 2 units of Y. And that process will remain constant because we have already assumed in the beginning that the prices of X and Y are constant, fixed, they are not changing. So a budget line is nothing but the price ratio of two goods X and Y that our consumer is consuming. Now come to our indifference curve. So what indifference curve? It is also a locus of different combination of goods A, B, C, D, where when the consumer is moving from A to B, he is increasing the consumption of X and sacrificing Y. And we know that in the starting, for the first unit of X, the consumer, how much Y the consumer is willing to sacrifice is going on decreasing and decreasing as the stock of X at the disposal of our consumer is increasing. That means different combinations of goods, two goods X and Y on an indifference curve shows purely the preference of our consumer. That means if at all the consumer is moving from A to B, that means he is preferring more X, and for that more X he is willing to sacrifice a definite quantity of Y. So different points on an indifference curve is nothing but the demonstration of our consumer's preference. That means if the consumer is willing to stay at point D, that means he is preferring 1, 2, 3, 4 unit of Y, and this much of 4 unit of X and this much of Y. And if he is moving from D to C, that means he is sacrificing 1 unit of X and increasing a little bit of Y. So that is the indifference curve is nothing but the consumer preference, and the budget line is nothing but the price ratio. So why we have already discussed in more than 2 classes that why the slope of the indifference curve goes on decreasing and why the slope of a budget line is constant. The reason behind that is the slope of budget line or the price ratio Py upon Px is a constant because we have assumed that the price of X and Y are not changing. That's why whatever would be the exchange rate between X and Y, it would be determined according to their market prices. Thus, the slope of budget line is nothing but the price ratio of X and Y. That's why it is a constant, because we have assumed that the price is not changing. But come to indifference curve, why the slope is falling, that means marginal rate of substitution, why it is going on decreasing and decreasing and decreasing? Because the law of marginal utility is operating here. We know that as we have a more of a stock, the marginal utility is less, and if we have less of stock of a good, then its marginal utility is more. So in point A, the consumer has more Y and less X. That's why when he is traveling from A to B, that he is sacrificing Y and gaining X. So when he gains X, the marginal utility of X is falling. Why falling? Because the stock of X at the disposal of our consumer has increased when the consumer is moving from A to B. And at the same time, the stock of Y at the disposal of our consumer is falling because he sacrificed some unit of Y to gain one more unit of X. Thus, when he moves from A to B, when he reaches B, that means the stock of Y has reduced and the stock of X has increased. That means the marginal utility of X has fallen because stock has increased, and the marginal utility of Y has risen because the stock has reduced. The same will happen when he moves from B to C, that yet again the stock of X has increased. That means the marginal utility of X again reduced, but when the stock of Y reduced from B to C, then the marginal utility of Y has increased. So because with the change from A to B, B to C and C to D, the marginal utility of Y is going on increasing, whereas the marginal utility of X is going on falling. That's why, that is the only reason why our consumer, as he is moving from a higher point to a lower point, he would prefer to sacrifice lesser and lesser amount of Y to gain one more unit of X. So it is nothing but the game of marginal utility. So here we have written the formula. These are the conditions of consumer equilibrium. The first condition is slope of budget line, that is price of Y upon price of X, must be equal to slope of indifference curve, that is del Y upon del X, or change in unit of Y upon change in unit of X. Whereas Py by Px, the slope of budget line, shows us the price ratio between X and Y, whereas the slope of indifference curve del Y upon del X shows us the preference of our consumer. So when the consumer is going to attain equilibrium, when the price ratio becomes equal to the preference ratio. Once again I repeat, when the price ratio, that is budget line, slope of budget line, becomes equal to the preference of the consumer, that is the slope of IC, that is del Y upon del X, our consumer is attaining equilibrium. So the second condition of equilibrium is indifference curve must be a tangent to the budget line. What is a tangent? If two curves has one common point, only one common point, we can say that the second curve is a tangent to the first curve. So now come to the third diagram. Here you can see, yesterday we have already discussed the indifference map that shows us the level of satisfaction of our consumer at a different level of income. So you know that in this analysis our consumer is spending all his disposable income on purchase of X and Y. That's why this is the BL is the budget line. And what is the budget line? Budget line shows us a different combination of X and Y that our consumer can purchase with his possession of money. That means with his purchasing power, when he is spending all his money on the purchase of X and Y. So come to the first point here, that A, B, C, these 3 points lie on the budget line. That means when our consumer is spending all his money, he can afford, or he is able to purchase combination A, combination B and combination C as well. That means all these 3 combinations A, B and C are possible with the purchasing power of our consumer. Then here 2 more points are there, point D and point E. So what is the meaning of these points? So come to point D. When the consumer is operating at point D, that means it is lying below the budget line. So if the consumer is preferring to operate on point D. It means the consumer is not spending all his disposable income in the purchase of X and Y. Whereas this is underutilization of resources, and when the consumer is preferring point E, you can see here point E is lying above the budget line. That means the combination of X and Y that point E represents is not possible on the part of our consumer with his limited resources, because he has not sufficient money to buy this combination of goods. That's why it is lying above the budget line. So this is called budget constraint. Once again I repeat the phrase, budget constraint. Constraint means limitation. So point E is budget constraint. This combination cannot be purchased by our consumer because he has less resources. Point D is under utilization of his resources. He is not spending all his disposable income on the purchase of X and Y. But point A, B, C, H, they are lying on the budget line. These three combination of X and Y are very much possible for our consumer to buy, because his income or his disposable income allows him to purchase these three combinations. So now the question is that which combination the consumer would prefer. So now come to again diagram 3. Here you can see that the first condition and second condition both are satisfied at point E. So E is the point of equilibrium. Here you can see IC2 is just touching the budget line. That means E is a combination that the budget or the disposable income of our consumer is allowing him to purchase, and at the same time he prefers point E. That's why indifference curve IC2 is tangent to budget line at point E, and our consumer will attain equilibrium at point E. But you can see that point C and point D, these are 2 points and they are intersecting with the budget line. So why not C or D? These points are equilibrium point, because you see that this is not the point of tangent C and D. So this IC1 is touching the budget line at 2 different points. That's why it is not a tangent. Hence the first condition is not satisfied. So C and D are not equilibrium point. E is the equilibrium point when the IC2 is a tangent to the budget line of our consumer, and here the slope of the budget line, that is the price ratio of X and Y, and the slope of indifference curve, that is the preference ratio of X and Y by our consumer, are equal at point E. So E is the point of equilibrium, where if the consumer buys this much of Y and this much of X, then he is attaining equilibrium, means he is getting the highest possible satisfaction from X and Y when he is spending all his income on the purchase of X and Y. And IC must be tangent to BL. If slope of IC and slope of budget line are not equal, IC cannot be tangent at that point. So literally saying, the meaning of both the points are same. So both the conditions are satisfied at point E, hence E is the point of equilibrium. So this is the theory of point of equilibrium, how to determine how a consumer attains equilibrium using indifference curve analysis. So you read a little more. So this is the end of consumer behavior. So next class, either we will start the theory of demand, law of demand, or we will shift to statistics, the next paper that you are going to read in class 11. So if you get any problem regarding this understanding of indifference curve analysis or ordinal analysis or anything till now we have discussed, feel free to consult me and clear your doubt. Thank you. Have a nice day.